One of the biggest American oil drillers in Egypt is Apache. Apache stock down about 1.5% this past week. Oppenheimer's Fadel Gheit is with us. He says he's confident that Apache will be practically immune from the chaos. Fadel is one of the top-ranked analysts in the sector, the energy sector. He's right here beside me in the newsroom. Fadel, thanks so much for coming in. What do you mean that Apache is immune? I mean, how can it be immune to this kind of chaos? Well,
I'm saying as a business interest in Egypt, this is one of the most successful companies in the country. They employ about 4,500 people, local people. They pay them very well. The relationship between Apache and its employees could not be any better. The company has done a lot for the country. They spent $6 billion so far in Egypt over the last 17 years. It is the most active driller in the country. It produces about 1/3 of Egypt's oil output.
So it's clearly
an important asset.
Yeah, it's an important asset to be. And we have heard from the company actually that they're still online. So far, you know, their production has not been affected by what's going on with the social unrest.
Not at all. All non-essential personnel have been lifted out of Egypt. Apache expat, about 100 people, 50% of them are still in Egypt. The manager, the head man is still there. And so Apache's business is business as usual.
Do you think it's going to continue? I know this is a crystal ball question. I mean, is it possible for Apache's business to continue as usual if tension stays at current levels?
Absolutely. A couple of things then. When we have most of the producing areas in Egypt that Apache manages is about 200 miles away from Cairo, from the population center. So they are really not affected by the rise or whatever. But the headquarters of Apache operation in Egypt obviously is in Cairo, and that's where some of the security issues might come.
Fadel, we know obviously you're an energy analyst. You've been watching this space for your career. You also happen to live in Egypt for quite a substantial part of your life. What kind of government is going to be the most friendly to Egyptian business and to businesses such as Apache? In other words, U.S.-based ones, but as you say, who have had a long-standing, almost 20-year presence in Egypt?
Very simple. A democratic government elected by the people. Egypt has never had an elected government. This military dictatorship for the last 58 years. It is totally sapped the resources of the country. The military and the government, they are one. They are changing chairs on the Titanic in my view. People do not want the Muslim Brotherhood. They do not want the military. They do not want corruption. And they said enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Do you think that people want business to be strong? I mean, we know that Mubarak has actually replaced a lot of his cabinet members and ones who were huge businessmen, billionaire businessmen.
Mubarak's net worth is estimated at more than $25 billion. I'm very surprised that the U.S. media is not exposing that. All his cronies and all his friends have amassed huge amount of wealth over the last 30 years. The Egyptian people are getting poorer and poorer every day. We give this country a huge amount of aid. It doesn't trickle down. It stays at the top in Swiss bank accounts.
You mentioned the poverty. We know it's about 18% at a national level, up to 40% in the country. Fadel Gheit, thanks so much for joining us, talking about Apache and, of course, the larger energy sector as well.